Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna was on the move. In December 1835, he ordered most of the Ejército Mexicano, the Mexican army, to gather at San Luis Potosí. This formidable force would become an instrument of national justice. El Caudillo would deal with Texas just as he had Zacatecas. Except, in Texas, foreign adventurers would be executed. On paper, the National Army included 10 battalions of regular or permanente infantry. Mexico also had a battalion of combat engineers called zapadores, sappers in the language of that day. There were also 6 regiments of cavalry. These were supplemented by regional militia units that could be activated for national service. These were designated Activo battalions of the National Guard, La Guardia Nacional. There were 16 of these battalions. They were supplemented by several companies of guardacostas, or units of a few dozen troops assigned to patrol specific stretches of the Mexican coast. Santa Anna, having left Miguel Barragan as the caretaker president of Mexico, took the field personally as generalissimo. Conscription officers would press campesinos into the ranks to beef up his command. Mexico's cavalry was the most impressive part of Santa Anna's forces. Presidial commands, composed of a few dozen men who'd served along the northern frontera, were largely composed of long-serving veterans of many an Indian campaign. They would serve as important auxiliaries. When conditions required, volunteer units of local horsemen might serve as scouts and couriers as well. Santa Anna's officers were talented. Most were veterans of the Spanish Imperial Army. Some were foreigners with a military background, and still others had earned commissions through service or training at the military academy at Chapultepec in Mexico City. These men led a mixed force of conscripts and volunteers. Those who joined the army willingly would serve for 8 years. Those pushed into the ranks through lottery or force served 10 years. These common soldiers earned about 20 pesos a month, which would be about $40 today. Santa Anna assembled half of the nation's infantry and a third of its cavalry at San Luis Potosí. He would lead an army of 8,000 soldados against the rebels in Kolby, Texas. He would arrest the men on Colonel Domingo de Ugartechea's list, and he would drive the American colonists from the region. Texas would be remade, according to his vision. His army, though, was in tatters. The constant cycle of civil wars in Mexico had eroded its cohesion. National finances ate away at its effectiveness, its supplies, and its logistics. His troops were of uneven quality, and the Mexican supply system required wives and sweethearts to follow the army and gather and cook enough food for the men. They also had to tend their wounds. Santa Anna understood this, but he believed these men were equal to the task. He referred to his soldados as chickens, perhaps in reference to his favorite pastime of cockfighting. But, as with that blood sport, a dead chicken, un gallo muerto, was of little consequence. It was the gambling, the thrill of the fight, the bets placed and won that mattered.